Hello and welcome to The Ordeal. I keep saying that I have a backlog of things that I want to cover, but then I keep coming across just crazy stuff that I need to talk about, like this article here. Academy Award-winning writer John Ridley puts his spin on beloved comic book characters, where this Academy Award-winning writer reimagines the DC superheroes as black instead of white. Wow, how creative and innovative. Nobody's ever done that before. But before we get started on this, please like, comment, and share this video with as many people as possible. Click the red button below the video and the bell. If you are commenting on my videos, please be aware that YouTube is deleting the comments on my videos for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, they're going away somehow. I don't know who's doing it, but it's not me. So if you have anything that you want me to cover in more detail, go to my About page. There's a link to my email there. Just shoot me an email in addition to leaving a comment, and then I can get to that other subject matter that you want me to talk about. I wish I knew why this was happening, but it appears to be happening. I don't know any other explanation than YouTube is doing it. I'm not doing it. So just go ahead and head on over to my About page and send me anything that you want me to cover. I'll cover it when I see it there in my inbox. Let's take a listen to this interview here from NPR on John Ridley.
John Ridley is the Academy Award-winning screenwriter for serious films like 12 Years a Slave. But he's also into comic books, both as a reader and a writer. He created The American Way back in 2006, as well as its sequel. And now he's putting his own spin on the heroes of the DC universe. Ridley has a couple of comic book projects coming out. The 5-part series, The Other History of the DC Universe, which looks at historical events and alternate storylines for DC heroes like Superman and Black Lightning. Book 2 comes out later this month. And out today is the first issue of Ridley's Future State, The Next Batman, which has a black character, Tim Fox, taking over as the mega-rich Cape Crusader following the apparent death of Bruce Wayne. John Ridley joins me now. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. How are you holding up?
Oh, you know what? I'm holding up. How about you?
I'm blessed despite myself, so I'm good. Thanks.
That's a good way to put it, in spite of myself. That is the same way with me. Well, this new Batman, he's a character that really seems to be right on time for some because of the moment we're in, and probably about time for others who've been waiting to see themselves in superheroes.
They always do this waiting to see yourself. You can't imagine yourself on the screen if you don't, you can't imagine yourself doing anything other than what you see around you. And we'll get into this later.
Was that your intention?
Well, that's a really good question. I think some ways yes and no. I mean, I think very unfortunately a lot of my work has always been the perfect work for imperfect moments. I'm very thankful for the lot of work that I've done, Red Tails, 12 Years, Guerrilla, American Crime, but it feels like it's always been, people have asked that same question. It's like, wow, how does it feel to have this work coming at this very raw moment? And unfortunately, it seems like these moments are becoming more and more raw. Some of that is because all of us are becoming just so much more aware of these things that are happening on a cycle. But I would be equally as happy if some of this work came out and it just stood on its own.
Tim Fox, the new Batman, is the son of Lucius Fox, a character that will be familiar to even a casual reader of Batman or someone who's seen Morgan Freeman play the character in the most recent Batman films. Tell us more about that storyline.
What I wanted to nexus this new Batman around was family and very grounded issues. So to have a young man who...
You realize you can make a story about family and grounded issues without changing the race of the main character in the story, right? You could have done this a different way. You could have done it with Superman. Superman has a very prominent family, or maybe you can make the story about Batman coming to the determination that family is what he needs to have instead of vigilante justice.
Who is this son who went away? Why did he go away? What were those stress points with his family? What had he been doing all of these years? Why very particularly did he want or need to become Batman? He has a brother who's Batwing. Okay, so his story's told. And yes, Luke could become Batman. But for me, Tim, he was there, but at the same time, there's an opportunity to really get into the specificity of this character. And for me as a writer at this point in my life, specificity matters. Real motivations, even for an unreal character, they matter.
Specificity matters. It's also what makes stories stick with us, that specificity. Because in that specificity, we often see ourselves.
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, for me, at this point, it's not just writing what I hope is a really terrific character with Tim, but it's the entire Fox family. I'm a dad now. I'm a husband now. I have kids who are around Tim's age, and to be able to say, how does Tim's decision affect this entire family? That's what really excites me at this point, is that it's not just about Batman. It's about this family, and it's about a family.
Sounds like a really exciting superhero story. Oh, I can't wait. Oh my gosh, family drama. What everybody wishes for in a superhero story. That's a good side element, but to make that the main plot line, that's not what people get comic books for. My interest is in action adventure stories, whether that's science fiction, not science fiction, superheroes, medieval fantasy, so on and so forth, whatever, action adventure. I know all that other stuff happens. There's family issues, there's basic survival issues. I need shelter, I need food, etc. But that's not what you make the story out of.
Color, and it's about a family of color who are now about the richest people on the planet. So what are all these things, and what are we saying, and what are we saying about identity and responsibility and privilege that are unique to the Bat world, but aren't necessarily unique to the world, but also aren't things that we necessarily unpack often. A black family that has a different responsibility, a black family that's going to be looked at differently, a black family that has means, but do those means insulate them, elevate them, protect them in the same way Bruce Wayne was?
Okay, well, Black Panther is the richest person on all of the superhero universe. Last time I checked, I'm just gonna go out on a limb here. Chadwick Boseman is black. Rest in peace. He's not white.
I want to ask you about something we should mention that some diehard comic book fans have pointed out, that Stan Lee created a black Batman for his comic book series, Just Imagine. What's the difference between the two?
To me, and I don't say this against Stan or for my writing, but there are people, for example, and I think this may be a better way of saying it, they'll say, oh, hey, you're writing Black Batman, and they're excited about it. They're like, well, that's really, really cool. And I say, well, I'm not writing Black Batman. I'm writing a Batman, and he happens to be black, but more importantly, he is Tim Fox.
Yeah, that's why you made him black. You could have made Terry from Batman Beyond, I can't remember his last name, but the Batman in Batman Beyond, he was white. He's a different Batman. He's a different Batman. Nope, you got to do a black one. See, that's the thing. You can't do this unless it's a different race. If you were doing this and it wasn't a different race, I wouldn't care. If you were doing this and we haven't had this history of the last 10 years, it's always got to be a different race. It's always got to be a different race. It's always got to be a different race. And actually, this history goes back a lot farther than 10 years, but it's really been concentrated in the last 10 years. Stan Lee's Black Batman was a fantasy arc. It was, hey, look, alternate universe, Marvel. It was not, oh, we're doing this is actually legitimate canon stuff. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to establish new canon in the DC universe because you're a racist.
And his version of Batman is going to be completely different if it was his brother, or if his sister became a Bat person.
His sister became a Bat person. No, she can't be a Bat girl or a Bat woman. She has to be a Bat person because, we can't gender her. This woke garbage has to stop now.
There's a theme with your work here. You're also involved in the other history of the DC universe. Part 1 of that series came out in November, and the series elevates a number of characters like Black Lightning. They're not the main superheroes we're used to seeing in the spotlight. How does it feel to contribute to a world that so many of us live in as kids, worlds where we can stretch our imaginations and possibilities, and specifically worlds where the characters look like you and me? I mean, you've been talking so much about that, about the importance of specificity. But this has got to be exciting. You're part of really changing the hearts and minds of a new generation.
Yeah, I really don't think the prevailing culture understands how important it is for people to see themselves in entertainment, in the.
It's not important at all. It's 100% not important. I make decisions in my life based on what I desire to do, not what I see on the screen. I became a computer animator. How many times do you see those people on the screen? Never. How many TV shows have featured a computer animator as a character? How many movies have featured a computer animator as a character? I can't think of any. There's probably some, but I can't think of any. And computer animation is a newer industry that came about after I was a child. So this is garbage. They make up this stuff because they just want to push their propaganda on everybody. They want to change the world into their image. This is not about equality. It's about dominance.
World. To inspire lightly, just by, oh, here's a hero, here's a person, here's an icon. I still think about my dad taking me to see the Christopher Reeve Superman film, and I could not have loved that film more. I could not have been more inspired as a kid, and I loved that film. I love it to this day. And that's great. But I also think about when my wife and I took our kids to see Black Panther and what that meant, not just seeing a hero and loving it and loving that sort of wish fulfillment, but seeing Chadwick, seeing a Wakanda, seeing Afrofuturism, and then also
Seeing a fantasy. You think that's reality? You talk about that like it's reality. That's not reality. Afrofuturism? You mean Afro fantasy? That's a fantasy. It's not real.
seeing the millions of people around the world who felt the same way about Black Panther that I felt about Christopher Reeve. Race didn't matter. It was the heroic nature of what these.
Then how come Black Panther was always tossing in jabs at the white race throughout the whole movie? How come it was doing that then? It was about race. Black Panther was secondarily about race. Primarily, yeah, it was about Black Panther. But there was secondarily about race and tertiarily about gender. Because you had all the really awesome female warriors. Ooh, they can do anything because they're girls. Yeah. Girls are tougher than boys. We all know this. We've been told this a million times. We know.
Folks were doing. And as much as I love 12 Years, as much as I love Red Tails or American Crime, Black Panther pushed the narrative and pushed representation and pushed acceptance in ways that, these.
I told you, this is all about race. See, it's not about the superheroes. He's trying to say, it's about the superhero, about this character, about family issues. And now it comes to what it's really about. He talks about representation. It's about this and that's that. Yeah. Prove my point for me, Mr. Ridley.
Kind of serious, important films. I love what I do, but it's just different. These stories I'm telling right now, with DC, with these heroes, this is the best time of my life. It really, really is a storyteller. So I'm thankful for all the things that I've done, but there's no, there's a reason that these stories endure. There's a reason that these are when it comes to mass storytelling that everybody buys into, this is the thing that endures right now are these superhero stories. So I'm very happy, very fortunate to be part of it.
One thing that you did, you visited beloved characters like Superman in this series, and you've pointed out that Superman is an immigrant and an alien from another planet. And that kind of blew my mind, John, just thinking of him in this way.
Well, Superman, how he represents, and I think there's a reality that, there are all kinds of immigrants in our country. And when we talk about the problems of immigration, we, tend to think about immigration from the southern border and not folks coming from other places where they look a little bit more like the prevailing culture. And their immigrant story, right now is not, it's historically lauded. For me, the great thing about the other history, it's not just, Superman was bad because he, is an alien and an immigrant, but he represents Anglo. But even people wrapping their heads around, we got Superman wrong. Black Lightning, having to look at it and say, okay, what did I get wrong about this guy? And how?
Okay, so this is another bunch of garbage about Superman being an immigrant, and therefore should be considered bad, but everybody loves him. The reason Superman is not considered bad is because he was adopted by a Midwestern family and raised with traditional American values. The problem with immigration that we're having in the United States today is we have a bunch of people coming here who are bringing in different ways of life that are disrupting our values, the traditional values in the United States, and they're raising their children to have those similar values to themselves. This is just so blatantly stupid on the face of it. These people think that they're so profound. Look, Superman, he's an immigrant, and he's loved by everyone. Why can't we do that with these immigrants coming from other countries here on Earth? This is just insanity that we can't love these people. It's like, look, they're bringing in antithetical values. That's the problem. It's not. I don't care what you look like. Like I said, I married a woman who is not the same race as me. That's not the important part. The important part is, what are your values? Are you going to try to assimilate to the culture that you move to? Like, if I move to her home country, do you think I'm going to go around demanding that people speak English? You have to speak English to me. That's it. You have to be like me. You have to speak English to me. They would laugh in my face. They would laugh in my face if I were demanding that. And it's the same way if you go to Mexico, there are no signs in English. I mean, I haven't been there, but this is my understanding. This is what I hear. Like, they don't have signs in English. They have everything in Spanish. Everything is done in Spanish. They don't have the option of, press 2 for English. No, it's we're speaking Spanish to you, and that's it. That's final. I don't understand how this is hard to understand. This doesn't make sense to me that people can't get this. Like, we're changing everything to cater to a group that is actually invading the country. I mean, literally, they're coming in here in replacement numbers and having more children than the types of people who founded this country. So, I mean, I don't know how else to explain it to you. If you don't see that, then You can like it, or I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's the way it is. So you can like it or not. It's up to you. That's what's happening in this country. All right, so from here he goes on to talk about how much fun he's having writing this stuff. There's no more talk about how impactful this is going to be in our culture today. Yeah, this is just so typical. And if we were doing it the other way, I would have no problem. If we were like saying, oh, well, we have a white Black Panther. Okay, great. Oh, we have a Luke Cage who's Asian. Okay, that sounds great to me. Let's do that. We can change these characters around. Oh, how about this? We have a Shang-Chi from Master of Kung Fu who's going to be Hispanic. We have a Psylocke who's a white man. It would be fine with me if they were doing it both ways, but it's only ever one way. It's only ever we're making this character, this beloved character that has an established history that's been around forever. Batman is the second oldest superhero, and they're going to go, oh yeah, well he's got to be black. What? He's been around for like 70, 80 years. What are you doing? Why are you changing him? And I know they aren't changing him. That's what they'll go. Well, we're not changing him. He's a different character. Like look like Miles Morales. Miles Morales is a Batman, or not a Batman. He's a Spider-Man who isn't white. See, he's just a different Spider-Man. Okay, yeah, all right. You're right. Well, why don't you tell that to Domino and Nick Fury and Johnny Storm? These are all white characters who you made black. You actually specifically made those people, those individual characters, black. And don't be telling me this is all a big fantasy. So, it's a fantasy. It doesn't matter, because as soon as there's a character who is to represent, who's not that race but plays that race. For example, Scarlett Johansson playing a race that she actually is not, but she's pulling off that race pretty well in the movie. Oh my gosh, we have to destroy Hollywood. This is wrong. How dare you? This is so wrong. We need to boycott Scarlett Johansson. Right? If it was just about you changing races around, race swapping, I don't care. If you want to race swap every which way, that's fine, but you can only do it one way. And even when there's a hint that it's wrong, oh my gosh, this is the wrong, this character is pulling off a race that they are actually not. If you want to have Batman played by a black man who looks white, and Batman is actually supposed to be white, I don't care. I don't care about that. And again, if you want to swap races any which way, just all around, hey, look, we got a white Storm over here. Look at that, Storm's white. Luke Cage is white. Hey, we got Miles Morales, and he's being played by an Indian dude. Okay, well that's fine. All that's fine. I would have no problem with any of that. And then in addition to that, you could change Batman to a black man, and I wouldn't care. But it's only ever one way. It's only like, hey, we got to make all these people black. There has to be representation, and they have to be black. What are you doing? What are you doing? This is so obviously racism, and people are putting up with it. We need to stand against this stuff. It's not right to demonize the white race, to say the white race is lesser. We got to change all their characters. I am never going to buy anything from John Ridley, ever. I'm not going to. If I find out he's a writer on anything, I'm not spending money on it. Because he is a racist. He is against me just because I'm apparently the evil devil of the universe because of the way that I was born. That makes no sense. I mean, it would be one thing if he was talking, I was a sociopath, and he's like, yeah, you're a psychopath, and he's like, yeah, you were born that way. You're a psychopath. Nothing you can do about it. I'm against you. I understand that, but it's based on the color of my skin. That's the primary characteristic that we're looking at here. The texture of my hair. Yeah, dude, that's not even a little bit cool. But it's okay to do it because I'm the evil white man. Yep. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and share this video. I will see you next time.